What is going on, Sir Dan Park? How you doing?
I'm very, very well. Thanks for asking. It's been a while, my friend.
Dude,
Eons, ages.
dude, it's been a long time. As I was making this up, I looked at the last podcast we did, and that was Cormier and Stipe 3. Like, I can't remember when
Comics
that was,
TP3.
but that was a long time ago.
That was before the fucking pandemic too, wasn't it?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we did one during the pandemic. That would have been during, because let's look it up. Stipe versus Cormier 3. That was August of last year, so yeah, that was still at like during the start of the pandemic.
Fair, fair.
Yeah, so that's the last time we
Did it?
did it.
Wow.
God damn, man. God damn.
It's
I can't even
been a
believe what
while.
I just said.
We've had earthquakes, bushfires since then, protests. It's the end of the world.
Dude, we've had everything. We've had absolutely everything. Fuck. Like everywhere's had everything though, hasn't it? Jesus. The whole world is just up in shambles at the moment.
Crazy, crazy times.
It is very crazy. But we still have fights,
Yes, yes, we do.
and that is all that matters. That is all that matters. Our hair may be getting long and fucking disgusting, but we've still got fights to watch. So I can watch these fights while I'm sitting in my bedroom, nice and sweaty.
Why not? Why not? On that note, Nick Diaz is back after a 6, 7 year layoff. I don't know, but damn, he looks out of shape.
He definitely doesn't look like prime Nick Diaz, unfortunately. Like even in his last fight that he had against what's his name? Freaking Anderson Silva. Andy Silva. That was back in 2015. Ouch. Like he looked in good shape then. He looked great then. But yeah, he doesn't look the
Mm,
same now. Especially like he was fighting middleweight then as well. He still looked fucking ripped. But yeah,
mhm.
coming back after 7 years, it's yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Ha-
Wait, have you?
Has any?
Where's that video?
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna see if I can find that because you know the UFC put out that little video of him doing the.
Oh, shadowboxing. Oh, that looked pretty bad.
Yeah, shadowboxing always looks bad, and Nick Diaz has always looked bad doing shadowboxing, so not too much can be taken into that. It was more just his physique. He doesn't look like that fucking like chiseled motherfucker, and the fact that we know for a fact he's been partying for 7 years. Like, and Nick Diaz
Yeah,
parties hard, man. This guy's always drinking. Like, he doesn't go in headlines for like getting the fights like other guys like Mike Perry and shit. But
and while Nick Diaz was fighting, Robbie Laurel had his reign as champ. My
oh
absolute
man,
favorite championship reign.
dude, that
North
is
of it.
easily the most exciting championship reign of all time.
Mm,
Like it's at welterweight, the most exciting welterweight championship.
yeah, yeah, 100%,
Because like
100%.
before that we had Carlos Newton. Who was the guy that Carlos Newton beat? Fucking Matt
Pat
Hughes's Pat
Miletich.
Miletich. So Pat Miletich, which was probably the most boring championship reign ever, because he won a lot of decisions. And then we had Carlos Newton, which that reign lasted literally. It wasn't a reign. He won the championship and lost to Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes had an exciting championship reign. I don't care what anyone says. All his fights were fun. Every single fight he had as champion were fun. But then we had GSP, who then immediately lost it to Matt Serra, who then immediately lost it back to GSP. And GSP's run looked like it was gonna be fun because he was like beating some of these older guys out. Like Frank when he fought Frank Trigg and fought Sean Shirk, he made them look like they were amateur fighters. He beat them up like they didn't belong in the division when they were like the easy the number 2 and 3 guy, and he just ran through them, out wrestled the shit out of them. So it looked like it's gonna be a fun reign, but he, I think it was around about the John Fitch fight. It got a little bit boring because we knew no one was gonna beat him, and that's the problem with like a dominant champion when you know the guys that he's fighting are not gonna win. That's when the fights become boring.
Yeah, and this is an issue that we might have here with Volkanovski.
some people think it's going to be competitive. I personally don't.
Yeah, I think it's one-way street too. I think I was very surprised when Ortega outstruck the Korean Zombie, but personally, I feel that he caught him with that spinning elbow, and the Korean Zombie was knocked out and kept going. So he was
Yeah.
out and kept going. That's how I interpreted it. I don't think he's going to get that lucky with Volkanovski. I think uh, it, that spinning elbow strike wasn't luck. It was skill. That was beautiful. That was gorgeous. But I just feel Volkanovski is kind of like when you watch his pace and how he fights, is kind of a like I kickbox a bit, right? And it's the kind of pace that I can't keep up with. Whereas you go one, one, two, that's kind of how I keep it. Whereas with Volkanovski, he's like bam, 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 and then leg kick, bam, 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 leg kick. His output is very, very high. So I feel like he's going to outwork Ortega easily.
I think he's just going to confuse Ortega because like he's already fought he's fought the two best featherweights of all time in Max Holloway and Jose Aldo back to back, and
Mm.
Aldo literally kind of you saw him kind of give up in the fight like I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna let this. I'm not gonna get knocked out. I'm not gonna get submitted, but I'm also not gonna win. But at least I won't get knocked out or submitted. So he kind of just let the fight happen because he didn't know what to do to Volkanovski. He was getting leg kicked, but he's like these leg kicks aren't hurting. But then every time he tried to like walk through the leg kick and throw something, he was getting countered. And it wasn't getting countered hard, but it's like if you're getting hit with something light, then well, the next thing could be kind of hard. So he was just confused. It just confused the fuck out of Aldo, and he couldn't do anything about it. And then the first fight with Max, exact same thing. Did not expect that. Did not expect him to just completely and utterly outsmart Max. As an Aussie watching that fight, I was still upset. I'm like, I love Max. Why did it have to be an Aussie to beat him? I'm supposed to be back. I'm supposed to go for the Aussie. He sounds like me. What am I doing? And then I was upset. And then they made
In
the
Australia,
immediate rematch,
mhm,
which I thought was a huge mistake. I'm like, that was such a walkthrough for Volkanovski. They
mm,
should not do that. And then they made it, and it was a really competitive fight. So much more competitive
mm,
than the first fight. But
yeah,
I think Volkanovski still won that 3-2 pretty, like, obviously. Like, the first two rounds were 100% Max. But after that, Max kind of, he let his foot off the gas, and Volkanovski figured Max out. So first Max figured Volkanovski out, and Volkanovski's like, shit, I gotta do something. Then he figured Max out, and then Max couldn't do anything about it, especially in that final round when Max was coming on again, and so it was like, all right, let me say that again. So Max figured Volkanovski out, then Volkanovski figured Max out for round 3 and 4, but
mm,
then Max figured Volkanovski out again in round 5, but then by the end of the round, Volkanovski figured Max out again and won the round by just smothering him. It's like, fuck this technique. I'm gonna just barrel through you, hold you against the fence, drag you down, and just fucking squeeze. And it worked.
well, yeah. Well, you convinced the judges that night.
Yeah,
I think it was a very, very close fight. Could have
yeah.
went either way. I think it was very, very close. But yeah, interesting enough, I reckon the max that for Cavalcado would fuck up Volkanovski. That was an amazing performance.
Sorry, the Max that fought Cater.
Yeah,
That's because Cater allowed him to do that. Volkanovski never did.
that's 100% very, very solid point.
Because that
100%.
Max that fought Cater is also the Max that fought Ortega.
I don't think so. I think the max that for Cato was better.
I think the Max that fought Cater looked better because it was a guy allowing Max to do what he does best with no threat of anything else like a takedown. Whereas
That's a very
Ortega
valid point.
has the threat of that ground game. And if you go to the ground with Ortega, we've seen like many times now, like Ortega maybe getting an absolute ass whipping from Moicano or
Moicano. Yeah.
even Guida.
Mhm.
Uh, what was another one? Well, Cub Swanson, he wasn't getting his ass kicked, but on the feet it looked like it was a clear Cub Swanson fight. But the second he grabbed onto Cub, it was like game over.
Mm.
So yeah, I think Max is he's probably a little bit better. He's getting older. He's getting more experience. He's obviously getting better, but I don't think the difference between that Max and the Max that fought Cater are that great. It's just that Cater fought him on his terms, which was just a bad
Yeah.
idea.
It's a really interesting one because I rate Max Holloway very, very high.
As you
And
should, yeah.
Volkanovski beat Max twice, right? And I feel that Max is a level ahead of Ortega. And so if Max is here and Volkanovski is here or here, but basically in the range,
Yeah,
uh, Ortega, like this is again maybe MMA math, but Ortega should be kind of, you know,
yeah,
a tier below. I think it's going to be a one-way street. I reckon Volkanovski is going to make us proud.
yeah. I think it's going to be one of those real boring, just outpoint, and you're not going to take Volkanovski down unless Ortega is somehow put on some ridiculous wrestling that he's never had in his past, and he's turned from a guard puller to just an explosive takedown master or a chain wrestler. He's not going to be able to get Volkanovski down.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to try and take Volkanovski down. I think what might happen is Ortega might win by submission. If he pressures Volkanovski enough to make him shoot, get a guillotine, mate, it could happen. You never know. You never know.
No,
So
100%. That submission game, he's like a goddamn anaconda, man. He just wraps around you. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, I'd stay away from the wrestling with Ortega. I think something you mentioned before the podcast, which was smart, is like you don't have to take them down. You can just hold them against the fence. Again, solid point. Solid point. It reduces the threat, but it'll still be there.
But as after I said that, I also remembered that's what Cub did, and every time he clinched up with Ortega, Ortega grabbed a hold of that neck. So even clinching him isn't a good idea.
Mm.
But Volkanovski seems like a smarter fighter than Cub. Cub's like in the older era, kind of like he's slowly like drifting off, and now we're getting the new era. And the new
Yeah,
era, these
he's
guys
the
are much
elder era.
smarter,
Mm.
or at least Volkanovski is, and Max is. Hell, Cater is. Being Cater and Cub would be a good fight. That'd be a fun fight. For Cater to come back and fight Cub, I'd love that.
Mm. Uh, Cub's gonna get fucked.
Probably,
On
yeah.
that note, speaking of older generation fighters, Nick Diaz, he's just gonna get hurt. I don't get it. But again, this is a 5 round fight against Robbie.
Yeah, this is well. Actually, should we? Seeing as we've done the main event, should we do the co-main event now?
All right, let's do that.
All right, so we'll get to Nick. Don't worry, we'll get to Nick. We love Nick. I love Nick. I've loved Nick for a long time, so we'll get there. So let's talk Shevchenko and Lauren Murphy.
Lauren's gonna get hurt.
Yes, yes, yes.
Aside from Shevchenko walking in there somehow blowing up her knee while she's jumping around, I don't see how Lauren Murphy wins this.
But she may not win. But an interesting thing to note at the moment. So Shevchenko's on this path where she goes decision, finish, decision, finish, decision, finish. And which starting from her Holly Holm fight, which she won by decision, and then she went to the Pena fight and won that by armbar. Then she went to the Nunes fight, which a lot of people think she beat Nunes in that championship fight. But either way, it was a decision. And then she
Hmm.
dropped down to flyweight against Priscilla Cachoeira and beat her by submission. And then she fought Joanna, beat her by decision. Then she went to beat her by a head kick. Then went to Liz Carmouche, really, really, really boring decision. Which that was a fight that I got my whole family to watch, saying, "Watch this chick, she's a goddamn fucking assassin." And then we watched that, and it was horrible. Okay, and then we went to Kellen Shikagian, TKO. Then we went to Jennifer Meyer, decision. Andrade, TKO. So it's just like now she's due for a decision. So she may destroy Lauren Murphy, but it might still be a decision because Lauren Murphy has never been finished. She's never fought
Yeah.
Shevchenko though, but yeah, she's never been finished. and she's coming off a 5-fight win streak off Calderwood, someone I've never heard of, Modafferi, Andrea Lee, and Mara Romero Borella. Don't know who that is. I probably should.
Like when you watch the difference in technique and fluidity in the stand up,
Mm.
it's not a day. It's not a day.
Yeah, yeah. Unless Shevchenko's somehow fallen off a horse and she's just not the
Mate,
same
even
fighter
if
she
she
once was.
comes in with a broken hip after falling off an horse,
Oh,
I
dude,
still think she fucks
Lauren
her up.
Murphy's a big chick, man. She is built. At the stare down, she looked bigger than Shevchenko.
I don't care if Lauren Murphy is 155 pounds. She's gonna get destroyed.
155 pounds of just pure steel and sex appeal. You don't give a fuck. Oh man, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Uh,
What is there to say about this other than like what's Lauren Murphy's chances? I don't know, what is her specialty? She's well rounded. Yeah, she doesn't have a specialty, so it's just
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. There's no real breakdown of this fight. It's just kind of all right. When will she
someone's
win?
gonna
There's no real
die.
decision. Hey, she might. I mean, I thought Jennifer Meyer was going to get just completely bulldozed, and Jennifer Meyer put up a really good account of herself, like potentially even winning a round or two. To the point where Shevchenko really had to just take her down and hold her. Like when she was taking Maya down, she wasn't advancing position. She wasn't throwing many strikes. She just took her down and held her because she was kind of like, if she puts me on my back, I'm in a bit of trouble. Which is a problem with Shevchenko. She has that defensive guard where she'll get taken down, she won't get hurt, she won't do anything. Well, that's the problem. She won't do anything. She just kind of sits there with a closed guard, holding and looking at the ref like, "Why aren't you standing us up, bro? Like, bro, it's a fight. Let's get back up." She doesn't do anything. It's like Douglas Lima when he gets taken down. He gets taken down, just kind of holds and he looks at the ref like, "Bro, this if this was kickboxing, she'd be losing." Like, put us back on our feet.
Mate, saying that brings back memories of watching Crow Cop back in Pride. If anyone takes it down, you literally hold on to them, look at the ref, and the ref will go, all right.
It's like, you make this organization a lot of money. Get back up. Get back up.
And the other guy's like, why would you do this to me?
The Yakuza loves you quite a bit. We'll let you stand back up. We'll let you stand back up.
Uh,
Yeah. So, I don't know. I really don't understand how Lauren Murphy's going to win this, but hey, it would be cool to see her put up like a good fight. But even if she does, I mean, it's not going to really make either of them breakout stars. Shevchenko is a great fighter. I love her. She might be like, no, I don't know. Where would you put her as pound for pound in women's fighters?
oh, number one.
Above Nunes, who beat her twice.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Because you look at when we say pound for pound, we're talking skill wise, as in best women's fighter, right?
Yeah.
Nunes has what 10, 15 pounds on Shevchenko. If Shevchenko was the same size as Nunes, she would win those. Like you look again, the fluidity of the techniques. You look at the fluidity of the striking. Shevchenko is so much more skillful. So if pound for pound, which means pound for pound, who's better? Shevchenko is.
That's fair enough.
Nunes is more accomplished, yes, but not pound for pound better than
Yeah. I
Shevchenko.
guess it depends how you define it. If you define it by accomplishments, all right. But then if you define it
Mhm.
by accomplishments, then I guess you could say Cormier is pound for pound over John Jones, even though John Jones smashed him twice because he's defended multiple titles in multiple divisions.
Yes, that is true. DC is more accomplished. That is true across different organizations too.
Yeah, call him Triple C.
So,
No, he didn't win a championship at the Olympics.
hmm.
But I guess you'd put Cejudo ahead of John Jones as well in that kind of case by going by accomplishments. But I guess John
Oh
Jones
yeah,
has so many defenses though. So many goddamn defenses. His own worst enemy, motherfucker. Damn you, John Jones. You could have been the greatest. Fuck you. Fuck you. He's like John Jones is. Oh no. I was going to compare him to Kane, because Kane was like, he had so much potential, but what came out of it, man? He had like, his best fights were against Dos Santos and Bigfoot, and Brock.
Mm,
It's
mhm,
like the Bigfoot fights don't really age very well because Bigfoot had two good fights throughout his entire run, and well, yeah, Brock didn't age too well either. Only one is JDS. God damn it, Kane was
mhm,
another one, just all potential, but didn't show us what that potential could have done because of all the injuries. I don't know how'd I get on this
mhm.
rant. I was about John Jones, yeah, and John Jones is similar because he just keeps on fucking shit up. He just keeps on fucking shit up. Got his title stripped like twice, and then relinquished it when he won it back, and now we're waiting for him to go to heavyweight. But he might be too late going to heavyweight at this age.
Yeah.
See if we
Mate, you
can.
look at Bigfoot's record, and my goodness, he went on an absolute cliff, sadly.
Eesh, it
Lost
was bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He went 1 and 10 in the last 11 fights.
That's disgusting. Why do they keep? How do they allow this man to keep on fighting professional fights? They
Yeah, it
they
is what it is.
they put him in a fight against that kickboxing guy. What's his name? And he,
Oh, wow.
remember?
Yeah, Rico Verhoeven.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? You're just handing knockouts to this Rico guy. What?
Oh, my goodness. Sorry. That 1 and 10, that doesn't take into account his bare knuckle fight and Rico Verhoeven.
Oh no. Who did he fight in bare knuckle? Was it Gonzaga?
Yeah,
And Gonzaga beat him?
wow. Yes,
Was it knockout?
yes.
Oh man,
Yeah,
combat sports is sad
yeah.
to watch sometimes. Like you see, like did you watch the Evander Holyfield and Vitor Belfort?
Yes, yes.
Like Evander didn't really get knocked down. He was missing strikes and falling over, and
Mm.
his team is using that as an excuse. Like, oh, he never got knocked out. That wasn't a legitimate win. It's like if you're knocking yourself down, you shouldn't be there. Like you're throwing yourself off balance with punches to the point where you're collapsing and looking like you're getting knocked down. You shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
That's
Evander Holyfield is unfortunate one of the best of all times.
yeah. Oh, easily, yeah. But he shouldn't be fighting when he's almost 60 in professional fights against 2013
People need
Vitor
money.
Belfort.
It's really unfortunate. People need money.
Mm. No, it's true. It's true. But it's just sad to watch. Real sad to watch. Can't we put him on commentary and give him like substantially less money, but at least some money for a fight? I don't know. That was sad to watch. But it was cool seeing Anderson Silva get a knockout over Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, I feel that gyms, just going back, gyms or just people need to be more financially covered so that, by the time they retire, they're taking care of themselves, especially athletes who, bring in quite a bit of money compared to your average person.
Mm.
Instead of just throwing it all, just you need to be intelligently invested.
Yeah, I think the problem is they get some entourages and the guys around them, they start paying for all their things. They just
And
throw money. They just throw money away because
that's
because
from
especially sorry, I'm cutting you off. But so like with fighters, a lot of them come from nothing. So they finally get this money and they're like, oh my god, I can do so much with it now. And they just start throwing it around like crazy. And then when the fighting's gone and the money's gone, it's like shit. I had all this money. What do I do with it? Because I never thought ahead.
and from the sounds of it, that's why we're seeing a Diaz fight this weekend for money. Have you
Yeah.
seen his latest interview with Brett Okimoto?
No, I didn't watch that. I didn't want to because he's delusional enough as it is, thinking that he won all his last three fights. So I don't really.
Well, what was very interesting of that fight is, from the sounds to me, is that he doesn't want to fight. He's not here to fight. He said it himself, I don't want to fight. but he has to because everyone around him is telling him you have to fight.
Oh no,
Because
really?
yes, yes, he literally says he's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to fight, but everyone's telling me to fight. This is all I can do. From the sounds of it, he has issues with money. A lot of people have screwed him over and scammed him out of money, to start a gym and all that jazz. And he said he thought he was with the right people, and turns out you don't know who your friends really are. And so this is what he has to do in order to make some money. It's his best option. It's his most lucrative option. He doesn't want to be here. He said that himself.
He has said things like that in the past a lot though, about how he doesn't like fighting, he doesn't like being there. Like even during his best runs, he was saying
Mhm.
very similar things. So I'm hoping that that's kind of what it's all based around. But like, it doesn't sound like it. Like he's never said that he's invested into the wrong things, and that's kind of why
Yeah.
everything's falling apart. Dude, that's sad, man.
Another.
That makes me sad.
Oh, it is. It's very, very sad. He doesn't even want this particular fight. It doesn't get him going. Like he
But
said himself, he's like,
he said
"Why
that
am I
he said
fight?"
that before the last time he fought Robbie Lawler as well.
What do you say?
He said, "I don't want this fight. It's not a good fight for me. They're putting me up against someone to lose. This is
Well,
bullshit." But I don't think this guy's as
what
good as
he
he is, and that's why
said,
I took the fight.
yeah. Well, what he said this time around is, "I already fought Robbie. I already beat him. He can beat me this time. Why have they set up this fight?
Well,
I already beat him."
but it's a fight that makes a lot of sense to fans. That's why they set it up. Yeah, I understand why he doesn't want it.
Absolutely. But to him,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because he's already beaten him. And he's thinking this time around, Robbie can beat me.
Mm,
I don't want that.
mm,
He said I could lose. I've already beat him one. Like the guy who set this up is an idiot. That's what he said.
mm.
So it clearly doesn't get him going. On the flip side of things, you see Robbie. Robbie, what are your thoughts about that? He's like, it's all business. I'm just here. I'm going to train as hard as I can. I've trained as hard as I can, and
Mm.
I'm going to show up to fight.
Yeah.
There's a stark contrast in the interviews where Robbie's all business. I'm here to fight. I'm ready. And Nick's like, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
have to.
yeah, I know. Fuck. I don't know what to say, man. Because like, how do I argue against that? Apart from just saying he's always been like this, but obviously it's just getting worse and worse now, and he doesn't look in the same shape that he once was. Obviously, because he's like 38 now. Last time we saw him fight, he was like 31, like in his
Mhm.
prime, and then he just walked away. But he walked away because he didn't want to be there, which was the right decision. If you don't want to be there, walk away. But now he's coming back, feeling the same way he did back in 2013. Was it that he left?
If not worse.
Oh, his last fight was 2015. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, now he's coming back even worse. Just doesn't want to be there. But obviously, guys are taking a lot of money from him. Doesn't have any. Here's the thing. Like I listen to Luke Thomas a lot, and he had a radio show on a platform called Sirius XM, and he was like as I was because I've been watching him for years. I think it was back around about that 2015, maybe 2016 mark. Nick and Nate Diaz were both meant to come into his studio and do a chat with him, and it was like a big deal because like they neither of them really do too many like radio shows outside of like when they're fighting, let
Mm.
alone they come in together and do one. But apparently the management around Nick Diaz completely fucked up the whole thing. So I don't. He never fully went into detail about it because he doesn't want to. As in, Luke Thomas never went into great detail because he doesn't want to like throw shade on Nick and Nate Diaz. But he reckons there's two guys managing them, and one guy's okay, but the other guy is just a complete and utter shady motherfucker, and he fucked up the whole interview. I don't know how he did it, but yeah. So that's just I don't know. There's been red flags all around Nick Diaz's career. Seems Nate might be a little bit smarter, but then he's being sued by his old management company. So the Diaz brothers, it's exactly what you're saying. What we were talking about before. Like they come from nothing, so they've kind of made bad choices in regards to who they get to look out for them. and now they're at this position, which is probably why
Mm.
Nate's taking fights against guys like Leon Edwards and potentially Vicente Luque when it doesn't make any fucking sense. He just wants to get that money as quickly as he can, finish that contract, and maybe fight Jake Paul once he's finished his contract.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah, no,
so that's kind of sad. But I mean, shit. We got. Did you watch Nick Diaz back in his heyday?
no, no, I never did.
He never did. Oh man.
No.
Oh man. He was when he fought Frank Shamrock. That was okay. We'll go back to his first fight with Robbie Lawler. That was like the first fight they started talking mad shit. Like in the fight, he's just screaming, "Stockton, motherfucker! Stockton, motherfucker!" Like, and this is at a point where Robbie Lawler, he was known as this scary guy. The name Ruthless never fits someone so well. He just went out there and slang and bang. That's all he did. And you got this jiu-jitsu guy with no evidence of a stand-up game, just screaming out Stockton motherfucker and then slapping him. It was ridiculous. Absolutely. And then he knocks him out with one punch. It was a one punch KO, and that was so. Robbie Lawler's only ever been knocked out twice. He got knocked out here. That was his first time being knocked out, clean, knockout, and then he got knocked out again years later against Tyron Woodley. That's the only two times he's been knocked out. So I don't know. That's. I thought that's a pretty cool thing to look at. It's just such a weird moment in MMA where he gets. It's probably his only one punch knockout. Like he also knocked out Koji Oishi, who went out there with a weird game plan, like standing out there, like did that and then got knocked out really quickly by Nick Diaz. But yeah, obviously he had a bit of a three fight skid in the UFC, left, then came back, and then left again, and then he fought Takanori Gomi, called that Go-Go Plata when he's high as hell, which was pretty cool. Have never like fully sat down and watched that fight. I've always just watched it for like the end because it was just so chaotic. I've never sat down and watched the entire fight. I really need to. But I watched these two KJ Noons fights, which were like I really enjoyed them because KJ Noons was getting the better of him in their first fight. But I think he came down to fight KJ at lightweight. So Nick Diaz, the guy that ended up holding a title at middleweight, came down to lightweight. So yeah, he got fucked. He got cut, and that fight was stopped. Going on a bit of a rant now. We need to watch the fights. Like, there's no point me talking through them. But his run in Strikeforce was just so fun. It was a really 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 fun run. Like he even fought Hayato Sakurai, which was in Dream, but that was they must have let him out of his contract to do that fight and then come back. But he even fought Hayato Sakurai, and that's like a welterweight I don't know, would say legend or pioneer.
Yeah. But you look at all the names that you put in, they're like from 2 generations ago, two,
Yeah,
3 generations ago,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Well, Lola has done the same thing. Fought all these guys from all these generations. He fought Koscheck. Koscheck wasn't around back in the let's have a look at Lola. I'm trying to think of he fought the middleweight guy. Fucking hell, what's his name? Evan Tanner.
Alvin Manhoef.
No, Evan Tanner.
Oh,
Evan Tanner was the first or not the first middleweight champion, second middleweight champion of the UFC. I think. I think Dave Mandel
mm,
was the first. Yeah, but he was a middleweight champion all the way back then, and he fought a guy like that. So he fought Nick Diaz, and they lost, and they fought Evan Tanner. And he's fighting guys like Vitali, Jason Miller, Frank Trigg, Ninja Hua, Scott Smith, which those two fights with Scott Smith were just absolute bangers because they're two guys that they just need to touch you and you go out. They were really good fights. I've got them on. I think I've got them on DVD. Elite XC. I've got Elite XC DVDs. um, he fought Jake Shields back when Jake Shields in his prime. That Melvin Manoff one you brought up. You've seen that one, yeah? Where he gets
yeah,
leg
the Melvin
kicked to
Manhoef one.
hell, and then
Yeah.
the only punch he lands is a knockout punch. That was a
Mm,
fun one. You know, as you said, he's
that
fought
was,
through. Nick and Nate Diaz have fought through so many generations.
yeah.
Wait, oh, Nick Diaz fought Chris Lytle. I didn't know that. In his second fight, he fought Chris Lytle. How did I never know that? That's a really cool thing. Because they're two, and Chris Lytle was well and truly into his career at that point. Chris Lytle was 9-7-5 at that point, but still, Nick Diaz on his second fight fights a guy with what's that, 20 fights? Jesus, that's kind of ridiculous to be able to beat him.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah, Nick is gonna get hurt. That's all I gotta say.
I don't know. You never know. Robbie's pretty shot. He's thrown like 3 strikes. He's thrown as many strikes as Woodley has in his last 5 fights.
Yeah, but you gotta think psychological here. You jump in there, right? You're expected to lose, and you've already lost to the guy, and he's a big name. So you really want to get that one back.
Yeah,
So he's going to come in there and he's going to try to perform. And that's effectively what he's saying. Whereas on the flip side, Nick's like, why the fuck am I even fighting this guy again? I already beat him and he might beat me this time. Fuck. Like
yeah,
City.
yeah. Man, it's just sad. It's really sad. I was trying to get to more fun things about them, but yeah, it's sad. But I guess
Something,
Robbie Lawler's fought Neil Magny, Colby Covington, Ben Askren, and Rafael dos Anjos in his last 4 fights, and he's been beaten dominantly by all of them except for Askren, who he was beating the shit out of and then caught in that bulldog choke.
mhm. Something that is an absolute bulldog who I love is Jessica Andrade. I love her. I love her so much.
Oh my god, Andrade is one of my favorites, man. Absolutely love her.
Mate, like I look at the fight between her and Cynthia Calvillo, and I'm like, you know what? Cynthia Calvillo technically is better. Grappling wise is better. But the firepower, there's a big difference there.
Yeah, firepower in multiple things, not just punching power, but also like takedown power and slamming power and explosive energy to get out of submissions rather than technically getting out of submissions, just picking you up and dumping you on your forehead so you can win a title type of shit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a one-way street here. I love Jessica. I find her very, very cute and adorable somehow. Like she is she is like a very cute murderer.
Yeah, I agree. And she's very soft spoken.
Yeah, like I imagine if I fought her, right, I'd be like, "You're so adorable," and I'm like, "Why are you
Why
so
are you so
ruthless?"
mean?
Yeah. Should be Jessica Ruthless Andrade.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
100%. Yeah, no,
Uh,
I think this is going to be a bit of a beatdown for Calvillo. Calvillo's got
yeah,
great,
I love.
good submission skills, like really good. She came in hot
Mm.
when she first came in, she because no one knew who she was. She got all these submissions, but then who did she end up losing to? She's already 34. I thought she was a lot younger than that. She came to the UFC back in 2017, so what's that, 5 years ago? So she was 29 when she came to the UFC. So she was already at that age where it's like you got to make something of yourself now, otherwise it's too late. And she beat decent names like Amanda Cooper, Calderwood, but then she lost to Esparza, and she beat Courtney Casey. She had a draw against that Rodriguez. That's a good effort. Beat Jessica I, but then Caitlin Chikagian just ha 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 to her for 3 rounds. Yeah, I can't find a way to argue for Cynthia Calvillo here, especially since she's been striking mostly in her fights as of late rather than grappling, and grappling is was her bread and butter. Whereas Andrade, mate, she will knock a motherfucker out. Doesn't matter how, she'll knock a motherfucker out.
Yep. Alrighty, let's move
Well,
on.
we didn't talk about Curtis Blades and Rosenstruck.
I feel like it's a. I like Curtis Blade. I like his skill set. I the issue he's had, and this has occurred with both Derek Lewis and Ngannou, is that he kind of when he goes for a shot, he shoots for a shot without the kind of he kind of tries to reach instead of setting it up or like a beautiful one. It was Bronson versus Till. Bronson level changes, throws an overhand, catches Till. Level changes and Till puts his hand up to block the overhand, shoots for a double, bang gets it. You look at the shot he shot against Derek Lewis, it was just a naked shot. And that's he kind of reaches around, he reaches for those takedowns. And that's where he got caught by both Ngannou and Blades, I mean, and Lewis. So that's where Blades, I've got a bit of a concern for him. But aside from that, once he manages to take down Rosenstruck, he's gonna fuck him up because Rosenstruck got mounted by Junior Albini, and that's very concerning because if Junior Albini is mounting you, then Rosenstruck is gonna then Blade is gonna finish you. That's my thought. What do you take it away, Chris?
Dude, I don't disagree with any of that. Like, I can't see how Curtis Blades loses this. Like, I understand Cyril Garn said that Lewis is just a less technical version of Rosenstrike, and by all means that means that Curtis Blades should fucking get knocked out by him because Derek Lewis has already knocked out Curtis Blades. But I think that Derek Lewis has a better like takedown defense and a get up game than
Yes,
Rosenstruck.
yes,
So yeah, I see him getting taken down, especially like Overeem was able to clinch him against the cage for large portions of their fight. So if Overeem's able to like wrestle you against the cage, like Curtis Blaze, I'm sure can put some Greco into his freestyle wrestling and push you against the cage and then shoot on a double from there. So yeah,
yeah,
it's not. It's a classic wrestler versus striker, but the striker doesn't have enough to defend the wrestling. He's going to get beat up
yeah,
unless, of course, Blaze does what he did against Volkov, where he gasses really hard because he just pushes so hard.
that was a 5 rounder though.
That was a 5 rounder, yeah, yeah. So unless he somehow magically, like, he didn't gas out and lose that fight, so I can't imagine he's gonna gas
Mm.
out and lose this fight. So
Ah,
we'll
when
see.
you're a big guy like that, spamming takedowns for 5 rounds.
Dude, that was one of
Yeah,
my favorite fights. I thought that was impressive because in my head I'm thinking I'm so much smaller than him, and I've had moments where I've had to shoot on guys, and I gas so much quicker than that. Like in a
mm,
3 minute like wrestling match at training, I'm fucked.
yeah,
I'm fucked. Like I've got that
yeah,
like acidic taste in my throat because I'm like, this guy did it for 25 minutes, and he was getting shit about that. Everyone's like, look how tight he is. Like, fuck you. Look at the size of this motherfucker. This guy is clearly elite level fit to be able to do that for
yeah,
5 rounds. Like, I get he got wrestled back in the fifth round, but I mean, he had dominantly destroyed Volkov in the first 4 rounds. Like, they were all 10-8.
yeah. When you put it like that, it definitely puts it into perspective because one, there's people saying that don't know what it's like. Two, fucking you're right. I'm a fucking light featherweight. Fuck, you're right. 3 minute rounds, and I just shoot, 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 shoot. I'm fucked. I'm done.
Yeah, and you've got less weight to carry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely get you. I completely get you. When you put it into that perspective, yeah, he's absolutely elite. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. I think Curtis Blaze is one of those guys that I think he should have been champion by now. He's just made some like big mistakes in big fights. He's lost. He's lost to Derek Lewis, who he probably shouldn't have lost against. He fucked up. And Francis Ngannou, man, is a champion, but he shouldn't have lost to Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
He
I
shouldn't have
agree.
lost. And those are his only two losses. But he's
Mm,
completely wiped out of the title picture now because he's had two big, like very substantial losses. And that last one was even bigger because he got knocked out cold. Like He was
Yeah.
flatlined. Ngannou didn't even
Yeah,
flatline him.
yeah, he needs a bit of polishing with his takedowns. That's all.
Yeah, he's
He
got good
really needs to
striking.
set
He
it up.
outstruck Dos Santos, which Dos Santos is a far cry from what he used to be. But he still outstruck Dos Santos with the fear of the takedown. But
Mm,
it was with the fear. He didn't mix in a takedown. It's just that he knew that this guy's a wrestler, so he was watching for the takedown that never came.
mm,
But back to what you were saying, he doesn't. So he's either full go wrestling or full go striking. He's never with the Derek Brunson and Darren Till example. He doesn't do that big overhand right. All right, now I'm going to grab a leg, or he'll throw a couple of strikes, push against the head, go for an ankle pick. Just like little like
mm.
I'm not actually going for this, but I'll pretend to go for it. So now your mind's all over the place. You're like, I'm not just watching these
Yeah,
hands now. I don't just have the idea that you are a wrestler. You might take me down. I've got the idea that you're going to go for things.
yeah, yeah. No, 100%. I agree. I agree.
And yeah, maybe
Speaking,
maybe show a bit of that here, but how old is he? I don't think he's gonna do that at this stage. He's only 30. What the fuck?
yeah,
Heavyweight, and he's only 30. Like, if he doesn't continue getting knocked out, he's still got he. I reckon. I'm calling it. He will be champion one day.
mm.
He will be champion, Curtis Blades. That's what I think. I'm a huge believer of Curtis Blades.
No, you're absolutely right. Because you look at the two champs at heavy right now, he can absolutely, like you said, he should have beaten Ngannou. He should have beaten Ngannou. Because just exactly like how Stipe beat Ngannou, Curtis Blaze can do that, but worse. And can he do the same to the French kickboxer? Absolutely. He can absolutely take him down and smother him. So yeah. Moving on to another wrestler, Merab Devasheli taking a
Murad
step up.
Davalishvili.
That's the one. You know how to pronounce that East European names. Uh, yeah, he's taking on a higher level of challenge than he has prior in Marlon Moraes, and he's a big favorite.
Which he should be. He should be.
I like him a lot. I like that he's an absolute cardio machine. I really do like his wrestling game. I also really like Marlon Moraes. When he first entered the UFC, I was very high on him. I think skill wise, he's a very good fighter.
Yeah, I agree with you. Skill wise, he's the better fighter.
Just he doesn't like being pressured and he doesn't have cardio. So I think if he doesn't knock out Devashili in the first round, he's going to be in
Davalishvili.
problems. Yeah, he's going to have in problems. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, well, this is literally the worst type of matchup for a guy like Marlon Moraes. Because of exactly what you said. He doesn't like being pressured and he doesn't have great cardio. After the first round, he kind of drops off. Even though he has won 5 round decisions, 3 round decisions, for some reason, at this portion of his career, he doesn't have cardio. For whatever that may be. We can't speculate on anything. But we don't know. He just doesn't have cardio. So, a guy like Dawalish he's it's more than likely from the get-go he's going to pressure Moraes. He'll push him against the cage. He'll be shooting for takedowns. He'll be faking takedowns. He'll be striking. He'll be feinting. He'll be doing all this stuff, making Moraes like. If this was the Moraes that previous to the Cejudo fight, I would have picked Moraes all day, every day. No doubt
Mm,
in my mind would I pick anyone else than Moraes to win this fight. But it's not the same guy. This guy was gun shy
yeah.
against Aldo for their entire fight and was gifted a decision. And
Mm,
against fucking Sandhagen and Rob Font, he just. Hey, it could be because the two of them are just absolute fucking dynamos, which they are. But he didn't look very good against either of them, like at all. He didn't seem to be there for any of those fights. In his previous fights against like Assunção, Jimmy Rivera, Sterling, John Dodson, he looked like he was there to kill. He had intention in his eye, but he doesn't have that anymore. He's only
mm.
33. I'd see him getting. Sorry, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I completely agree. I see him getting demolished. The problem is I rate him highly. He is so good athletically, skill set wise, just mentally doesn't seem there anymore.
Mm. Well, on a different opinion could be that maybe this is a good fight for him, fighting a guy a much lower level. It's a guy that's trying to break through, which the last two fights that he had were as well, and Rob Font and Sandhagen kind of made their names off of him
Mm-hmm.
as like showing that they're in title contention now, which could be what this is for Dwalish really. But it could also be
Yeah,
a comeback fight where he comes out and just fucking because if you are someone like Dwalish really, who is a pressure fighter with cardio, means you are not scared to just go, which means you can walk into shit, and he might do that because that's what happened to Sterling. Sterling was just go, and he walked into a fucking head kick. It
that's
was a
true.
head kick that turned into a knee.
Yeah,
He threw it up like a head kick, but the knee is what made contact.
yeah. Someone else trying to make through in the top 10 of the lightweight division is Nazrat Hakarat, fighting our Asia Pacific companion Dan Hooker. That's an interesting fight.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, and I think we had a bit of a difference of opinion because I don't see at all how Dan Hooker loses this.
I rate Nazra. I think he's good. I think he's very, very safe. I think his fight IQ is high. I like his style of stand up. It's very, very safe. It's very, very safe. I like it. And he knows how to steal rounds. He knows that, hey, I've got to make an impression the last minute of a round to, win it.
Yeah,
He's very, very smart. I think this is a very tough match to predict because Nazrat's mom died 2 weeks ago. She passed away 2 weeks ago. And he got his visa approved 2 days ago. So he wasn't even in the country, I guess. So he's literally stepping in to fight Dan Hooker on the same day he lands, which means he's going to have a very, very, very tough weight cut,
I think
plus maybe jet
Dan
lag.
Hooker's got the same issue though.
Yes, and the same thing. You're absolutely right. Dan Hooker has the same issue with the visa. And so it's a very, very, you don't know how that's going to affect them.
I feel like Dan Hooker comes from a kickboxing background where they're always flying all over the place and fighting last minute. It won't affect him too much, unless like he was cutting much less weight in those fights. I don't see. I think he's got like a different mindset where he's just like he's got like that Nate Diaz or the Diaz brothers old school fight anywhere anytime kind of mindset. So like something like that's going to mess you up mentally. It's not going to really mess you up physically because you're still just going to go out there and fight. You've done the preparation. As long as your weight cut goes alright, you should be fine.
Hmm.
So it's mainly the mental thing, as you said, is going to. But yeah, I don't think that's going to affect Hooker at all. But it might affect Nasrat.
I think you are right, but I think, like you mentioned, I think he in kickboxing bouts, kickboxers cut way less weight. Anecdotally speaking, they cut way less light weight. In wrestling and in MMA, people cut a ton of weight. Like when I jumped into a wrestling comp, I cut 5 kilos of water weight. Like, mate, fucking Peter cut like 8 or something ridiculous. Like I could see his lips just like all dried up. Like I was in a lot of pain, but I saw Peter and I felt better because I was like, fuck, I'm not as much as pain as he is.
Fucking hell.
Because Peter and I were the same weight, but
Yeah.
he cut down 2 divisions lower so that we don't compete against each other. And I just cut down to the division that I'd be in.
Yeah.
So he cut down to what, like 63 or something?
Fuck off.
He
63.
cut down to like 64, something like that, something ridiculous.
That's
Whereas I just
nuts.
cut down to I just I just cut down to 68 or something like that. Right? So yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like, how is this man gonna drive? But the weight cuts being that brutal, and if you have just one day to do it for Nazareth or Dan Hooker, it's fucking tough. It's very
Yeah.
tough. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hopefully it
So
doesn't affect them too much, and we get a good fight out of it because they're both really, really good fighters. And this is
mm,
like Dan Hooker needs this. He really does. Like, and so does Nazareth because they've given him two nobodies for him to kind of make his way back into fighting guys like this because he was coming up previously. Then he fought Drew Dober and Drew Dober just knocked him dead, which was a real surprise because Nazareth was the guy they were betting on to come in and win that fight.
mm,
But Hooker's also lost his last two, I believe. I think he lost to Poirier and Chandler, and Chandler was a
mm,
big one, especially losing in the striking realm. Got caught with, I think it was the left hook. I think he faked the right to the body and then threw the left hook over the top, and it clipped him, and they just like barraged him against the cage. It kind of looked
yeah,
like Bisping and Rockhold finish. It's like against the cage, doom doom doom, doom 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 doom. It was pretty brutal.
yeah. That was a beautiful sequence.
It really was. It was amazing. So yeah,
All right.
if we're making picks, I'm picking Dan Hooker personally.
Mm. I don't have a prediction. I don't know how to read it. I think there's too many variables, and I don't know how it's going to affect them.
Hmm.
All right, going down to Chris Dacocas and Shamil Abu
Dorcas. Dorcas.
Dakas, Abu Darakitov. Mate, these Russians have such a
Shamil Abdurakimov. Abdurakimov?
yeah.
Abdurakimov.
Mate, you know how to reach it. Good stuff. Yeah, I think Chris takes it. I think I'm very, very impressed with how fluid Chris's striking is. Like I look at his physique and body and go, what the fuck? But he's athletic.
Dude, he's looked good. He's looked really good lately. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And he's had like first round knockouts in his last three UFC fights. This Shamil is also not too bad, I believe. I haven't watched any of his fights in a long, long time. The last fight was in 2019 against Curtis Blades. But he's beat guys like Tybura, Orlovsky, Sherman, Ward Harris. Yeah, none of these guys are great. I think half these guys aren't even in the UFC anymore. Actually, Tybura. Oh no, Tybura. They've actually got him up. They've got him ranked, haven't they? He's ranked number 8. Tybura is. That's how weak the heavyweight division is. You there? Your mic just ran out of battery. This guy. This guy. One job. One fucking job. We play games online. This guy can't seem to keep his headphones charged. Which actually, that's something we should do. We should record us playing Vel. Just watch how shit we are. Wait, is he there? Oh, no, I can't. I can't hear. I can't hear. I cannot hear. You sir are fucked up.
Very interesting fight
All right,
because
you've only just started talking again. I couldn't hear you through any of that.
oh, okay, hello, hello. Can you
All
hear
right,
me now?
all right. Let's speed this up now. All right, let's smash out the rest of this card.
Hmm.
Sorry, what were you saying? I was just talking mad shit about you why you weren't able to hear me. Just so you know.
Okay, I was talking about Roxanne Modafferi and Talia Santos, and Roxanne is someone that I really, really appreciate. I really, really like her because she has no athletic ability and is, you look at her record too. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. She is someone who knows she has no athletic ability. She knows that she's a veteran of the game. She's someone who's living her
Only
dream
been
in a
knocked
sense
out
that
once.
that is true.
Sorry, go on.
She's living the dream. She's training and she's being paid to do her passion, which is fight. and she pursued her passion when she has absolutely no ability to do it. Roxanne Modafferi somehow keeps on winning, losing, and winning, and losing, and winning. And as her name suggests, the Happy Warrior, I love her. I love her. I think she's great. I think her skill set is being utilized in a way that she understands her athletic constraints. She understands she's not going to out athlete people.
Hmm.
So she uses a formula where she can maximize her chances to win, and it's been fruitful. I like her. I like her a lot. I think she's got a really tough matchup in front of her. Not because I think Talia Santos is great. I just think Roxanne is not. But I really, really like Roxanne on what she represents, which is a martial artist, a veteran who's utilizing what she has, which is her grit. And yeah, I really like Roxanne. I find her very motivating. Take it away, Chris.
Dude, I can't describe her any better than you just did. That was really good. I quite enjoyed listening to that because it was great. She embodies everything that we love about watching MMA, but she does it in a real happy way. She doesn't complain. She goes out there, she fights, she wins, she loses, and somehow, as I was saying to you, she's only been knocked out once, and she's got 18 losses for a chick that can't strike. She's only been knocked out once. That's not a bad effort, which just shows she's able to like impose her will, for lack of a better term,
Mm.
and do what she wants to do. Just obviously sometimes she goes up against people that are better than her at her specialty, which is grappling. But she also
Mm.
survives on the feet. She's got enough defensive striking to not get knocked the fuck out, which might change on this weekend, but we'll find out. But yeah, I agree with you. I love her. I love watching her. She's a nerd, and we're all nerds, so it's just like I can relate. She comes in dressed up like Super Saiyan Goku, God, screaming I'm like, respect, motherfucker, respect. I love it. Absolutely
Yeah.
love it. So yeah, hey,
Yeah.
I hope she wins. You know, win loss, win loss. I think she's due for a win. She is. So,
Mm.
hey, and she beat Andrea Lee. She beat Macy Barber. She beat Antonina Shevchenko. Beat Bob Honchak. And other names that I don't know. So, and she's fought Jennifer Maia twice. Lost to her twice. Lost to her via split decision the first time. So, Jennifer Maia is someone that gave the champ a hard time. And she lost to her via split decision. Modafferi doesn't
Mm.
really get the credit she deserves, but I feel like you just kind of gave her the credit she deserves really well. So, that's appreciated. Alright, what's next? I don't know any of these
Uh,
next fighters, so you can do the breakdowns. Do a rapid breakdown.
so Medic is someone who's basically only fought low-level guys, and Turner is someone who is coming up. So both their accounts are saying their fighter is very, very good. But I just they're not proven yet. So we'll see how we go. Like, yeah, it's going to be a 50-50 fight. Don't really have anything to put in. The weight bout between both Nick and Cody. They're both making their debut.
Mm.
So that's that. Matthew Sanzaiber, I don't know him, unfortunately. And Omar Moraes and Jonathan Pierce is an interesting fight. Jonathan Pierce is someone who has a lot of heart, comes forward, had a fight the night against not Kai, Kai Kamaka. That was the name. So a very, very interesting fight because they're both very, very big at featherweight. And Omar was someone who was undefeated at lightweight, made his featherweight debut against Giga Chikezi and got steamrolled. So clearly, what would have happened is even he's a much older guy too. He's I think 36. So he would have went into fights that he won, going, I feel these guys are a bit too strong, or I feel a bit undersized. I reckon I can make featherweight. So he's either dropping because he felt a strength discrepancy at lightweight, or he's dropping because he's going at lightweight. I can be a contender or but at featherweight I can be champion. So I hope he's in the other camp, which means that he's really trying to make a statement here at featherweight.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that's my breakdown. I think Omar is going to win this fight. I think Jonathan Pierce striking defense isn't very high, whereas Omar is very, very smart. He's very defensively sound, has great takedown defense, and even when Giga caught him the first time, he's like, "Fuck, I need to get him back." But then Giga caught him again and again, and it's like, "All right, I need to survive." So yeah, that's my breakdown of the card.
Fair
And
enough.
thank you for hosting this. Thank you for letting us do this. It's been exciting to do this after so long.
Well, this was very last minute. Like, we were literally just about to play another game of Valorant, and then you're like, fuck it, let's do a podcast. I'm like, fuck it, alright, let's do it. And then it took us like another 30 minutes to figure out what platform we're going to do it on. I'm like, because we started, when we first started the podcast on Skype. Skype was like the easiest one to manage this whole screen split thing. And then Skype changed everything. Like, what the fuck are we going to use now? And then we went on Discord. It's like, oh, we can actually do the chat on Discord. So we started doing the chat on Discord. And now my camera won't run on Discord for whatever reason. It just won't run on Discord. But you mentioned, hey, have you tried Zoom? I'm like, no, I haven't tried Zoom. So we jumped on Zoom, and here we go. So there we go. Thank you, Zoom. That worked out well. But this has
Good
been
shit.
an hour and 6 minute podcast. So I guess it shows we just wanted to speak about fights for an hour,
Mhm.
which is good. But hey,
That's awesome.
if anyone actually watches this and they're interested, we can put up videos of us playing Valorant and talking mad shit
Yeah, why not?
because that's always fun.
Why not?
Hey.
We should definitely start recording our matches of Valorant and make like a compilation or something.
Oh
It's a bit of fun.
yeah, yeah. Valorant, fuck, Valorant's so good. It's so good. Oh my god, but we're so bad at it. We're so bad. I mean, we must be getting better because we like our ranks going up, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
like we're still so bad.
Well, we went up from the lowest tier of bronze down. We're nearly up to silver. The highest tier of silver. So we definitely went up a complete tier.
Yeah, which sounds like it's not far, but it actually is because like you got to win at least say 5 to 6 fights in a row to go from tier one of bronze to tier two of bronze, and it's 3 tiers.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
to get from tier one of bronze to tier three of silver, that's 6 tiers. That's 6 times 5. That's 30 matches that you kind of have to not win in a row, but have minimal losses between those 30
yeah.
matches.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we've done, which is pretty good. It's pretty good when you
Hmm.
think about it. But we're not at tier three of silver yet. We're saying that we are. We're not. I'm 1 match away, 2 matches away. Two wins. I have to win two in a row, and we just jumped on before. And then freaking, what happens? We get an AFK. It's like, damn, no. That happened last week. We had 2 AFK games. Like, we were smashing. We were on like a 3 or 4 game win streak. I'm like, yes, we rock. And then 2 AFKs. And then the first game, the AFK was our top frag. And she's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
subs, I'm out. Peace. And the second one was just a guy that's trying to keep his elo low, so he just wanted to lose the match on purpose. And I was like, cool, you did.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. All right. On that note, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good fun. That was good. We need to do more of these. I mean, on the weekends when we're playing games, I mean, we can always jump on, play a game, and then do a podcast.
Yeah. I
But
completely agree.
or we can just record a Val game. Sure, we can
Hmm.
figure out how to do that and like stream it live so people can just watch us and laugh at how shit we are. Or sorry, not
Agreed.
people. Jeffrey can watch us. I'm sure Jeffrey will watch this. Fucking hell, I love Jeffrey, man. Jeffrey's the best. Always our number one supporter. Been here
We love you,
since
Jeffrey.
day one. Alrighty. Shall we be off?
Hmm.
Alright, I didn't have the music on today. I just decided to start it without music because I can be fucked. But, peace out. Love you all.